My father chose my wicked stepmother over me. I want to exclude them from my wedding.
Ooh, are you marrying a prince?
Hey everyone, I learned the Reddit community gives honest advice, and that's what I need from you. I have some family wedding drama to discuss, so here we go. My mom and dad separated when I was around 12 years old. My mom decided the split. I, 25, female, stayed with my mom. By the way, this comes from user Emily1503, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I didn't see my dad very often because he was working a lot. Whenever he would pick me up from my mom's, he would leave rude comments about her. I hated to hear this and told him to stop. I think he was just very immature about their split. As I was around 14 years old, my dad started dating his now wife. Let's call her Karen. This would be a very suitable name for her. When I met Karen for the first time, I instantly felt off. I think this is the feeling when you just know you are not going to get along with this person. It was a gut feeling and it never went away. My dad moved in with her. She was living in another city, so it got even more rare that I got to see my dad. One time I stayed with them for a few days and it got worse. Whenever she just looked at me, I wanted to cry and couldn't really talk. I just had this feeling of tearing up. She would do these little things to me, like make comments about my eating behavior or my looks or my body, just the things that you really shouldn't say to a teenager. I'd call it inconsiderate and disrespectful. My dad never noticed it. What he did notice, though, was that we just couldn't get along. But dad treated me like a princess when I was visiting. When I was visiting with my cousin, Karen would favor my cousin in front of me. I think one of her issues with me is about money. My dad paid child support for me, and she didn't like that. When I was visiting, he was spending money on me again, like for food and going out, and I don't think she likes it. She makes a lot of comments about money. This one time, though, I couldn't bear it anymore and just started crying in front of her. She had this judgy, grumpy face on her. She knew my dad would see this and know we still didn't get along, so she just left the room. But after that, both of them knew the issue was bigger than expected. I didn't see them for a year and a half after that. My dad didn't call me. He just doesn't like confrontation. When I came back to visit, they just pretended nothing happened and that we're a happy family. Well, when I was around 17 years old, I went abroad for a few months, and during that time, I got a text from Karen saying we had fun at the wedding and sends a picture of her and my dad. Yes,
What?
They got married when I was away and didn't tell me about it.
That's so messed up.
That's absurd. Wicked. That is wicked. They didn't invite me. They didn't tell me anything. And silently, I never forgave them for this behavior. My dad has a son from his previous marriage before my mom. His son, male 35, Kevin, is older than me. I didn't know my half-brother existed until I was 11 years old. When my parents separated, my dad started to get more in contact with Kevin. Kevin and his girlfriend, Lou, frequently visit my dad and Karen now that they seem to get along just fine. Oh, and Lou is Karen's favorite. They're in contact over the phone all the time and update each other on life every few hours. I think Karen liked Kevin more than me because my dad never paid child support for him. I never did get close to Lou, but I did to Kevin. I mean, he is my half-brother and he's such a funny guy. We casually text once in a while. Okay, now hold that thought of Kevin and Lou. When I was around 19 years old, I did a work internship for 3 months in the city that my dad and Karen live in. They offered me to stay with them and I accepted. Bad decision. I had to pay for my room and my dad was gone all the time. I was alone with Karen in the house a lot. She made me feel unwelcome through the little things she did. For example, I do not like Karen and she does not like me, and when I came to visit, I would tell her hi and how are you and bring my things into my room. 10 minutes later, my dad approaches me asking why I didn't hug Karen for a welcome. Dad showed me how to mow the grass on a lawnmower. I mowed when dad was gone and Karen watched me. 10 minutes later, my dad calls me and asks me if I ran over the garden hose with the mower. Karen told him that, but I did not. I told him I'm mowing the grass just how he showed me, and Karen could have asked me herself. She always goes straight to my dad to complain about me. Okay. When I was with the work internship, I just felt uncomfortable all the time and moved out after 1 month. I told my dad I couldn't stay with him and I felt unwelcome because of Karen. Karen cried and I cried, oh well. I told my dad I'd love to see him and visit him and meet him, but no Karen. He told me straight to my face that he wants to spend the time he has off work with his wife. And this hurt a lot. I called Kevin for advice that day because he is better in contact with Karen and maybe he can tell me what's the problem, but he never picked up or texted back. He still hasn't, even to this day. I think Karen complained about me, and now my half-brother and his girlfriend don't want anything to do with me. Unfortunately, about 2 years ago, I started working in the city my dad lives in, so I started to visit him again a few times. You know, he is my dad, and I love him. Whenever I'm with him, he treats me like his little princess. Karen doesn't like that, and I feel happy and comfortable around him, just not with Karen. I think she's influencing him a lot in what he should feel or do. When we are all together in one room, it's okay, but as soon as my dad leaves the room and I'm alone with Karen, I feel so uncomfortable and sick to my stomach. I think my dad just wants to ignore this. Well, does he know? Does he know this? Because it's like he leaves the room and then you become viscerally uncomfortable. So he can't know that happens unless you talk to him.
I do want to know how much actual conversation OP has had with her dad, because he does seem like he's doing a lot of wrong things, like parenting wise. Like, he doesn't seem like a great dad, and you shouldn't have to tell him this, but I think if you want anything to change, you do.
It's true. Like, conversation is the only way through these circumstances. It seems clear to me. Here's another thing. Karen's kids are no contact with her. Her daughter lives just 1 block away from her house, but they never see her. I met her a few times because when she had her first child, I think she felt obligated to visit her mother, but now it's no contact at all. Her son is also in no contact, I think, since he turned 18 years old. I wonder why. When I was visiting in 2023, I saw an invitation for a wedding on their dining table, and guess what? Kevin and Lou are getting married in 2025. Even my cousin got an invitation. I told Dad that his son doesn't want any contact with me and that I do not know why. I asked him a lot of times if he could please ask Kevin what the matter is since he's in contact with him so much. He just tells me every time that Karen is in contact with him and wouldn't know. These are all things hurting me from time to time. He gets weird every time I ask him to please solve this problem between his son and his daughter. I am sure he doesn't like that confrontation, and I'm sure he knows what's going on. Fast forward, I'm getting married next year.
A lot of weddings.
Okay.
Back to back.
There's a lot going on in here. In 2025, the same year, my half-brother's getting married. I love my dad and he loves me, but still, I do not have a good feeling about inviting him and Karen to the wedding. First of all, he would totally leave bad comments about my mother when he sees her. And second of all, I don't feel comfortable with Karen. She would just pretend to be happy for me and give me a hug, and I'd know it's fake. If I tell my dad I'd like him at the wedding ceremony but not Karen, maybe he wouldn't attend. He definitely wouldn't attend. But this would hurt him a lot, I think, and would cause a lot of drama afterwards. Just give them exactly what they gave you.
I think you can,
which is no invitation or knowledge about the wedding.
And then you text them after you and say like, "Oh, such a fun wedding."
Yeah, such a fun wedding. Thought you'd like to know how it feels to be excluded from something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, bye forever. I will not invite them to the wedding party because it's at my mother's. That's for a fact. But the ceremony, I mean, he is my dad. I haven't told him yet that I'm getting married, and I think I really want to tell them at the last second so they might already have plans that day. Maybe Kevin is getting married that day. We all know they would attend his wedding rather than mine. Or I could just be like, well, you didn't tell me you were getting married either. That's, haha. Yes, you should do that.
Yes.
And you should also, right there, you should listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and search OK Storytime. And we do have a little bit of story left here.
Man.
Do you have any final thoughts,
Well,
Sophia?
I think I agree with you. I think that you don't need to invite them. I think you don't need to tell them. The only thing I would say that the other option you could go, I think you have kind of multiple routes that you could go down. One, you could do the don't tell them, don't invite them. Or two, you go to your dad and you say, hey, these are the reasons that I don't want to invite you to my wedding. If I see enough change, maybe we can fix that or something. But right now, I don't think I can have you at my wedding. But also, that's like, a little bit of a harder route.
I think that direct communication like that could be good, just being like, hey, X, Y, and Z has been happening.
Yeah.
Ball is in your court now. How do you feel about these things?
Mm-hmm. But that's like really, it just, if you feel that you need closure in a way to talk to your dad, because I think that not inviting him is a pretty big step in kind of going low to no contact. And maybe that might be the right move for you. But if you want to kind of get some sort of closure, have that conversation with him, even if it ends with low contact to no contact, and say, hey, these are the reasons why you're not invited.
What do you think about all of this? Do you have some advice? As I wrote, he is my dad and I love him. This is just something hurting me for years now, and with my wedding, I really want to make a cut. I am a grown-up now. I'm making choices for myself and to feel good about myself. I only surround myself with people I love and feel secure about, that I can be myself. But then there's Karen. and she is a part of my dad. I really need your opinion on this, and that is the end of the story.
There you have it.
Let's put a poll up. Do we invite
Ooh.
dad or nah?